All right. Welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program. I want you guys to truly. Why are you telling my phone? I wasn't talking really loud. All right. I wasn't talking really loud. Look. Stop using playing with her here. I want you guys to understand that they really think that they're doing something at this point, right? And in terms of trying to manipulate my emotions, but they're not. All right. Now also, look at how the pattern of the color change. All right. Look at how the patterns of the color change, right? All right. Red vehicle again. Look. Red vehicle again. All right, so I'll talk about patterns of threes. 1, 2, 3. It's all coordinated. It is all coordinated. This is what you talk when you talk about fifth generation of warfare, particularly in the psychological realm, using colors to manipulate people's emotions, to manipulate their thought patterns. Trying to create dark theme patterns, what is called dark intrusive thoughts, which a person would never have thought about or don't think about, but they do now because of the psychological warfare, because of the psychological manipulation, right? So you got to understand that, and you got to know what it is that they're doing. And again, in the remote neural monitoring, the microchipping, using BCI is to prevent and to stay one step ahead of the victims if the victims seek revenge or any sort of redress, any sort of lawsuit, just like Alda. Like I spoke to her, I said to her when she had gotten arrested for making domestic terrorist threats. Now I'm saying, how could they arrest someone for making a threat? They inside their own home. All they heard noise around their property, and being that they manipulate her and they attack her, all she said was, if you're trying to sneak up from behind and attack me, I hope you get slaughtered. And they arrested her and charged her with a felony, right? Which is a felony, right? Domestic terrorist threat. Like, what kind of shit is that? So that alone in itself should let you know that, particularly in her case, I keep telling us to document these things because it shows a pattern of the using of law enforcement, predator law enforcement, actively engage with the civilian population to create, false narrative and lies to get rid of you because they know what they've done to you. And the fact that you are vocal, you continue to speak out against what it is that they're doing and exposing them in a way in which makes you and I, and how we expose them, I don't want to say more of a target, but there's an urgency to shut us up. Because as these technologies become more and more talked about in the public sphere, we have documentation going back decades about this stuff. Right? The things that we say that was being done to us decades ago, they're talking about, oh, well, this is being developed and this is the effective. No, they've been developed these things. You understand? They've been developed these things. What they do is they experiment on people within the society and they wait a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades if they have to come out and just say, okay, well, we're working on this now and we're so close. No, they've already developed these things. You got to understand the lies, the manipulation, the deception is part of who they are. That is their intrinsic true self. I'm not sure if I'm saying the right word here, intrinsic. I gotta, sometimes I say certain things with certain words and, like today, when I was writing the description, not the description, the title. I think I was making a response to Facebook, something like that. Yeah, I think it was on Facebook. And, before my targeting, I could spell words like anxiety, stuff like that. But after being targeted for so long, certain words, you're able to to spell it one day and then forget how to spell it the next day. So, you know, I was typing. I typed the word anxiety, and I was surprised that I didn't see the, you know, usually when you spell a word wrong, it's usually underlined, right? So I was like, oh shit, I spelled that right. Again, so at times I get very surprised because, you know, probably about a couple of days ago I couldn't even spell the word. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, you know, my experience has taught me, you know, to push back against their lies and their manipulation, because, you know, if they're lying to you as a TI, me as a TI, imagine the lies that they're telling to the general public and we as TIs, we have more knowledge about what's being done than the general public, right? I couldn't even oh yeah. So what it is that they do and how they do it is how we have to expose it. But you got to learn and have the knowledge of the technology. Let me put my keychain on around my belt loop. Like I said, I always know when they engaging in certain tactics and certain methods, you know, just by how they condition me, just like by how I'm programmed. So once you recognize how you're programmed, I'll cut in front. Go this way, brother. Go this way. All right, yeah, there you go. And try to cut in front of me. You know what I'm saying? So at times, you look, hear the president problems in the background. All right. So when you understand what it is that they do, is try to do certain subliminal message, that whole blocking theme, cutting you off theme. That's what it is. So you got to cut them off, or you got to direct them. All right. It's hilarious. Look, Christmas is over. Why they still got Christmas trees out here? Right? Christmas is over, man. Why they still got Christmas trees out here? Nobody buying that shit. So, oh yeah. Again, right? Understanding what it is that they do and how they do it. Like I said, you know, I was watching a video of a woman, Caucasian woman, talk about how feminism has been the biggest failure, right, in American society. Oh, look. Oh, they showed up. Oh, what? I guess I exposed you guys so much that you got to show up, huh? Yeah. Listen, whenever you see the fire trucks, it's because I exposed them in such a way that they can no longer hide or deny or anything like that. Look, number 32, 132625. Right? So they cannot deny it, because again, I'll show you guys the proof. There is a pattern to what it is that they do, and once you start to recognize that pattern, right? But you need to learn what it is that they do first. So it's not only about recognizing their patterns, because most people can't see these patterns. These are what is called dark patterns. So if you're unable to see the dark patterns, you're gonna be manipulated. And I'll give you a perfect example, right? Why would they send children to send me a subliminal message about being assassinated? Right? Do you know how destructive that is to the minds of those children? Not only that, but these children might take on that persona. Okay? This is how, when I talk about dangerous cults and destructive cults and how they're being controlled and run by those in law enforcement, those in positions of authority, right? Again, we need to look and understand where is the violent mindset coming from. And I always talk about this. White people will say black people are violent, and they will try to create violence within our psyche, and we won't even know, right? Because black people are always going to be used as the boogeyman within a racist society, because we know ultimately in a racist society is against black people upliftment, is against black people themselves. So whether you call yourself a black Democrat or a black Republican, a black independent, you know, you always gotta have one eye closed and one eye open. Okay? Because you need to understand the truth. You need to learn the truth. Well, I see you, buddy. I saw you from across the street there. I saw you from across the street there, man. He was looking at the tire of the vehicle of the blue car over there. Right? And again, I want you to understand what it is that they do to me in my targeting, in using these wealthy Jews, you know, to you know, show me, look, you know, we have the resources, we have the money. You know, you people don't. You people don't have the mindset to do what we do. Yes, we do. They just sabotage us, right? So what was COINTELPRO about? It was about what? Infiltrating the black community and destroying black leaders, right? Not only destroying black leaders, but those who they believe have the potential to be a black leader. Those who believe that this black person or those black people, you know, want to create things for black people. You can't have that. See, why is it that we don't understand it? Why is it that we still, well, I mean, I know why, but I'm asking. See if you can think, right? Why is it that we don't understand that? Right? Why is it that we believe so much lies? Why is it that most of us can't comprehend the fact that there are people out there who are orchestrating our demise every single day? Right? Why is that? Why is it that they can get you and I to be upset when we do something to each other, but not be upset when white people do something to us? Huh? Like when they kill our loved one, we go and we hug them. Oh, I forgive you. But let that be a black person. And again, I don't condone murder of black people killing other black people, right? But I'm just saying it happens, right? And it don't happen as much as they would like you to believe. Or they'll manipulate you into believing. Right? But why is it? Right? That we feel this, you know, sympathy and not sadness and anger for our loved one that they kill, particularly when it comes to predator racist cops. Right? That when they kill our loved one unjustly, we talk about forgiveness. Do you know that you are spitting in the face of your dead family member when you do that? Because if this was another black person that did that to your family member or to your friend or to another black person, you know, your anger is on 1,000%. Okay? So when I talk about how we are manipulated without us even understanding and realizing it, that's what I'm talking about. You need to look within yourself and say, why am I not angry? Because if it was them, they would be angry. Right? Look at the O.J. Simpson trial. And you know what they did to O.J. Simpson? Even though he was found innocent, they sabotaged him, they manipulated him, using the Sambos and Sambinas. Okay? But because, you know, he had accountants, financial advisors who were smart enough, he was able to protect most of his assets. Okay? Right? And they have not rest until they destroy that man. They manipulated that man. And so we have to have the same mindset. Right? That when they come after us, we gotta come after them with the same mindset. And not rest until, you know, they stop. Until they are stopped. Right? So it's something that we gotta recognize within ourselves, how we are being manipulated, how we are being programmed, and what it is that they do, how they do it. Right? Talk about, oh, you know, they care about black children. They don't care about black children if they are manipulating black children to, try to intimidate and threaten an adult, right? And nigger parents, like I said, they're the dumbest. That's why I call them Dans, and they can get upset. They can get upset. I want them to get upset, right? Because it's going to teach them a valuable lesson. When other people see what it is that they do to one of their own, based off of people who don't even like them, who manipulate them and use them, then those other groups of people, other groups of people know that they can do the same, that they can manipulate us against each other. That's what I said. Black people will risk their lives for people that don't care about them, right? But won't risk their lives for the people that look like them, for the people that love them. I'm not saying all. Let me put it like this. And I'm not talking about black people, I should say. I should say nigger peers, not black people. So forgive me for that. Right? But nigger peers will risk their life. Bicycle theme again. Right? Nigger peers will risk their lives for other people who don't like them. Right? They will keep us at the bottom just because they want to feel special. They want to feel liked by the people that hate them. Right? That is the mindset that Malcolm X talk about. That is their mindset. That's why they, like I said, they know who to promote and who not to promote. They know who to support and who not to support. Why do you think on social media, the people who tell you the truth don't have any subscribers? And if they do, they take them out, aka Kevin Samuels. Right? Aka Andrew Tate. Now, I may not agree with everything that they say, but if they're speaking the truth, regardless of their religious belief, regardless of who they are, I'm going to support you. Because like I said, the ultimate power is truth. Right? There's nothing higher than truth. Okay? So it doesn't matter. Like I said, you can look at the people who I subscribe to. They are Christians, they are Muslims, they are Hindus, right? They are Buddhists, they are men, women, they are gay men, gay women, right? As long as they're speaking the truth, I'm going to support them. Because the truth is, the truth is, there's nothing higher than truth, right? So don't be fooled when they talk about they care about our children. As black people and as European people, they don't. All right? I showed you guys, right, the test scores of black children, right? The the schools in which predominantly black children go to are severely underfunded even to this day. They are, like I said, they are, why do you try to give them the middle finger? Give them the middle finger back to you. I see you looking with your eyes, yeah. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? These racist pigs. That's what they do. Racist Caucasians. Right? And nigger peers are so stupid. Move into a community that we lived in, displace us, and all of a sudden, we think that our community is better. It's not better, dumbass. It's not better. It's better for them because they understand in the next decade or two, there'll be hardly any black people left in that community, on that block. Right? But nigger peers are stupid. They don't know nothing about displacement. That is a form of violence. So I want you to understand how my people will ignore the violence committed against them by other groups of people. Right? But will hate you based on that very same group who are displacing them, false narrative, and cognitive and neurological and neurocognitive warfare against the people that look like them, just because they may not be of the same religious belief system. Right? Again, truth is higher than anything else. Truth is higher than their God. Truth is higher than their lie. Truth is higher than their Jesus. Truth is higher than their belief system. Right? Because truth is based off of reality and facts. All right? Not manipulated. Not manipulation. Not deception. Not lies. All right? Talk to you guys in a video.